So now we're going to talk about the fire triangle. You need air, heat, and fuel. Creates a triangle. You take any side of that out, any one of those three elements, and the fire will die. That's how you could smother a fire, by putting dirt on it. Smothers it out. No air means no fire. No heat means no fire. And no fuel means no fire. You need all three of those things to come together to make a fire. So we're going to talk about the different things you're going to need. First off, you're going to make sure that you have your source of ignition. I'm going to show you a few different kinds, but make sure you have one, if not more, or two is better, three is best. We talked about that before in our survival kit lesson. So some good examples of tinder. So tinder is a dry material. It will ignite from taking a spark. A stick is not tinder. You can sit there and hold a lighter. If you can hold a sustained flame to it, it might catch fire, but it's not going to catch from a spark or from a glowing ember, maybe produced by making a friction fire. Okay, so good examples of tinder are, birch bark is the best one out there that nature can provide. We'll cover that in a bit. I'm going to go over that a little bit further. Let's see what the cadet program says. So for your list, so remember, it has to be dry. Bat droppings, yeah. Birch bark, cotton fluff. I also add in there a really good one is also cattail fluff. You guys all know what a cattail looks like. Now, if you're in the fall, you know, you've all done it. You've all hit your friends with it and watched those things explode. The thing on the end that looks like a corn dog is made of all that fluff. It catches spark easily, lights on fire. You have your dried fungi. Harder to find an example of that out here. That's going to be your chaga and your horseshoe mushrooms growing on trees. Dried grasses. Yeah, but you really have to process it. You have to take it, you have to rub it in your hands, really make it really fine. Okay, we're talking about tinder is something that would catch. I mean, if you can hold a flame to it, great. But if you can't, if you can only get it from a spark, that's what we're talking about. You got fine wood shavings. We'll go over how to make those. Dryer lint is a big one. Go down and clean out mom's, or go out and clean the dryer vent. Your parents are going to be so happy with you, and it's a great combustible material for tinder. You've also got pine or spruce needles. Dead though, they have to be dead. They're going to be red. They're going to be to the point they're going to want to fall off easily. You can also use waxed paper. So I have a little bit of that with me here. So just have a small square I normally keep in my survival kit. Tear it and make it very fine once again, and it'll catch. Also, I have a few different kinds. So a good habit to get in as you're walking, I find, is as you're walking, collect tinder when you find it. Old man's beard is another one. You've seen that up in the forest. It's not great when it's wet out though, because it absorbs moisture, and when you really need it, it's no good. So, empty pill bottle here. We have some dryer lint here. You're gonna take it out. You're gonna really make it fine. The other thing is, there. My personal cheater. I have this container stuffed with cotton balls, and it's covered in Vaseline. Vaseline is petroleum jelly. So it's made of petroleum. It wants to catch fire. So I can take that out. I'm going to spread it out. This is probably what I'll be using as our tinder to start the fire to show you. And it catches spark and goes whoosh immediately. So the main thing is, it's best to have a few tinder sources on you in case you don't find the birch trees, the long grass. or if you need to start a fire in wet weather, it is very hard to find natural tinder other than your pine needles and your birch bark. So, talking about birch bark, here we have a birch tree. For those of you that don't know, it's going to be identifiable by its leaves that look like this. And whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall, like the leaves are going to be different colors obviously, but most easily identified by the fact you can walk up and you can peel this bark off like paper. Okay? Now, it doesn't just light because it looks like paper. There's actually an oil in this. There's an oil in the bark. You're going to notice it when you light it. It's going to smoke really black. But if you take this, that's more than enough to start a fire. You take it, work it in your hands so it's really fine like that. It's going to catch a spark more easily, okay? This holds it, so once it catches, it burns for a while too. It doesn't burn up immediately.